Are you planning to get married at the Waterfront Beach Resort in Huntington Beach, California? Are you out there looking for some wedding inspiration, some tips, and some fun ideas? Or are you a DJ that's out there who want to learn how to actually DJ a wedding? Then this video is for you. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some fun wedding highlights from a recent wedding that I've DJ'd and take you behind the scenes of what actually went down and the steps and processes leading up to the wedding day to ensure a fun and successful event. If this sounds like what you're looking for, then stay around and watch this video. By the way, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Joe, DJ MOJOE, a professional DJ down here in Southern California, specializing in weddings, corporate events, and private parties. And I'm all about helping clients have the best time of their lives through good music, good vibes, and good energy. In this video, I'll be going deep into Camille and Dimitri's wedding. I've DJ'd at the Waterfront Beach Resort several times, so if you're interested, check out my other videos on YouTube. And I'll be going through what went down for their wedding. I have the timeline and my notes in front of me, and I want to give you a breakdown of what happened on their wedding day and what it took to create the wedding vision of their dreams. First of all, the Waterfront Beach Resort is an amazing venue. It's one of those venues that you choose if you want to go for that luxury California vibe. I mean, not only do you get the sun, but you also get the fun. You're right there by the beach, and there's so many things to do outside of the venue in case you have friends and family who are traveling, and there are many places for them to hang out, so to speak, after the wedding or so. Now, this is my third time DJing at the Waterfront Beach Resort, and every time you have a wedding here, you can have it however you like. They have different areas where you can get married. There's different reception ballrooms that you can choose depending on your guest count. For Camille and Dimitri, they had a church ceremony elsewhere, but here at this venue, we had their cocktail hour and the reception. For the cocktail hour, it mainly took place outside on the lawn, and it was a really great vibe. We had a saxophone player, we had a quartet playing some music, and these were all outside talent away from me that the client had hired, but they were in charge of the music, and it was such a great vibe. People really get to explore the outside portion of the venue and really just enjoy that California sun. Now, we do have 370 people. It's a lot of people. We have people outside for the cocktail hour, but we also have people inside in the main hallway for guests to enjoy. So in case they want to stay in a more air-conditioned place, there is a hallway inside, so that's where they enjoyed the cocktail hour as well. Now, in terms of the people, most of them came from local OC, Orange County. 40% came from the Bay Area and the East Coast, so we had lots of people from all over. This was a Filipino-Greek wedding, so it was really great to infuse the two cultures together and make it a fun time for everyone. And also, before I continue, I want to give a shout out to the amazing vendor team that I got to work with that day. Now, first of all, I want to take the time to recognize the amazing team that I got to work with. Audrey Jean Events, who was our wedding planner and wedding coordinator. I also want to give a shout out to our photographer and videographer team from Carissa Wu Photography. Check her out. And also our florist, Flower Alley. So check them out. There are descriptions down below so you can reach out to them in case you want them for your event as well. Now, going back to the timeline, when guests came in at 6 o'clock and as they're making their way and find their seats, that same saxophone player from the cocktail hour, he performed inside as guests come in. And it really sets a nice, smooth vibe just as people come in and find their seats. And then around 6:30, we kicked things off with the grand entrance, and I played Let's Groove by Earth, Wind & Fire, and I had Camille's parents come in, Dimitri's parents come in, the sponsors, the wedding party, and then the bride and groom. For the wedding party, I played Starships by Nicki Minaj. And for the newlyweds, I played Without You by David Guetta. Hey, it's Joe, DJ MOJOE. I've been where you are, passionate about DJing, dreaming of making it my full-time career. And guess what? I did it. Now I'm here to help you reach that same goal, especially in the wedding scene. It's called Wedding DJ Mastery Accelerator, a community where we connect every week on coaching calls. I'll be sharing the same knowledge and principles that help me succeed, and together, we'll adapt them to your journey. As a founding member, you get to start with a free 7-day trial and then enjoy a special discounted rate. Join now, and I'll see you inside. Now back to the video. Now, one thing to note, during the introductions, I had so many names to say out loud, and it's very important to say the names correctly. So I have my sheet in front of me, which I use to really work on the names and the pronunciation of the names. Not only do I say the first names, but they also wanted me to say the last names as well. Now, this varies depending on the client. Sometimes people like to keep things simple and casual, in which case I just say the first names, but dealing with parents and sponsors, they like to be acknowledged with their last names as well. So I said them both. And sometimes the last names could be tricky, so I highly recommend that you go over the names with your DJ and just making sure that the DJ or your MC will say the names correctly. Let's continue. So after the newlyweds come in, we have the wedding party cheer for them. And right before we move on to the first dance, I invited all the wedding party to find their seats, so that way the dance floor is just for the bride and groom. Now, their song for the first dance was Love Like You by Rebecca Sugar, and that happened up in front. And after the first dance, we had our groom Dimitri sing a special song that was a surprise for his now wife Camille. And it was a song, Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Frankie Valli. It was such a nice surprise and a sweet moment that we've shared, and it's those little things that matter and count. If you really think about it, having a wedding, it's not all about dancing, although it could be, but it's also the surprises or the elements leading up to the dancing that makes things fun as well. So this surprise was very entertaining and sweet. This is what happened after the first dance. After that, we had the blessing, and then dinner was served. We had our saxophone, Amin, continue to play the saxophone with some backtracks and some music to ensure, we set the vibe for the dinner right. So Amin was there to perform for a while, and I was there to be that supportive character there just to ensure that the saxophone sounds good, the music sounds good, and wherever he goes, it sounds good. Remind you, there are 370 people, so we want to make sure that everyone can enjoy the music and not being too loud, but just enough so people can talk among themselves and still create that nice vibe. Now, after some time during dinner, while guests are eating some delicious food from the Waterfront Beach Resort, we continue with some speeches. Now, speeches is one of those moments that could take some time out of the program if people go overboard and talk for a long time. We had 5 people who gave speeches that day, and one tip that I have for you if you're planning your wedding is to let those people know who are giving speeches to keep it short. Maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You tell them 2 to 3 minutes so that way they can plan accordingly. But in reality, we've gave them a 5-minute buffer so that way we kind of plan ahead and include that in the timeline. So at least we gave ourselves a buffer in case they go overboard. Afterwards, we had the mother and son dance, which they danced to a special edit that I've made, and then a father-daughter dance, which they danced to Brown Eyed Girl. Afterwards, we had the cutting of the cake, which I played Lucky by Colby Calais. And then afterwards, we had Camille and Dimitri say their thank yous in front of their loved ones. Afterwards, we did a very special segment called the Anniversary Acknowledgement. So what I'm about to share with you was an idea that was brought up to me from the bride's mom, and it was my first time doing something like this, but it created such a nice atmosphere of love, and that's what it's all about. So for the Anniversary Acknowledgement, it's really a way to celebrate people's anniversary. We have 370 people there at the wedding. So I was there to ask people to stand based on the number of years they've been married for with their spouse. And for example, if they've been married for 1 to 10 years, please stand. And they remain standing, and our wonderful staff, they gave the gentleman a rose, which that husband gives to the wife. So they stand, we give them the roses, and then they sit down. And that was if they've been married for 1 to 10 years. And then we continue if they've been married from 11 to 20. So we continue, and if they've been married from 11 to 20 years, they stand up and we give them a rose, and we keep going. So we went from 1 to 10 years, 11 to 20 years, 21 to 30 years, 31 to 40 years, 41 to 50 years, and 50 years and more. And when I mentioned 50 years and more, only one couple stood up, and I forgot how many years they've been married for, but it was such a great acknowledgement, and everyone was cheering them on. And instead of the normal anniversary, but what was really a really nice touch is that there were flowers involved to keep the romance alive, and that was so nice that we were able to do that. This was my first time doing it, and the way I did it, and maybe we can talk about this another time, but I also use another tool to really help me MC this. I do have a general way of explaining things, but sometimes it's nice to have another brain to kind of help you, guide you, explain this activity. Afterwards, we had some performances. We got some people who I invited up to sing a few songs, starting off with Beth Boschma, and she sang to Can't Help Falling in Love. And then we had another family friend, Teddy, who sang to Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And then also back to Beth to sing Celebration by Kool and the Gang, but this time having people up and dance. Now, one of the great things, and I'm talking about the logistics here just briefly, was that it's super important to meet up with these people who are singing early on before the reception starts. This is important so that way they've already are familiar of where to stand. They're already familiar with the microphone usage, the volume, and they get to practice a little bit before the real thing, which happened right after the anniversary acknowledgement. After celebration, we got people dancing and we kicked things off. And we also had a dance instructor, Rudel, who led us with some line dances. So one thing about Filipinos is that we love line dances, and that's what they wanted, and I coordinated with Rudel about the different line dance songs to play for the guests. So we did that. And then we continued with the money dance. And afterwards, we continued with some Greek dancing. So it was really great how Dimitri sent me some Greek songs for the family, and it was so fun. We got people dancing, and it really brought both sides of the family, the Filipino side and the Greek side of the family, together. And we were just there to have a great time, and I was there just to facilitate it and make it work. So the Greek dancing was fun, and then we just opened up the dance floor. And I played some fun music, as you can see in these clips. Hey, it's Joe, DJ MOJOE. I've been where you are, passionate about DJing, dreaming of making it my full-time career. And guess what? I did it. Now I'm here to help you reach that same goal, especially in the wedding scene. It's called Wedding DJ Mastery Elevated, a community where we connect every week on coaching calls. I'll be sharing the same knowledge and principles that help me succeed, and together we'll adapt them to your journey. As a founding member, you get to start with a free 7-day trial and then enjoy a special discounted rate. Join now, and I'll see you inside. Now back to the video. As we continue in the night, we had the bouquet toss, which I played Juice by Lizzo. And we had the Garter removal and the toss, which I played Hot in Here by Nelly, and I Got You, or I Feel Good by James Brown. Dancing continued and we end the night at midnight. So that was a fun time. We partied since what? Guest arrives at 6 till 12. We had a 6-hour reception. And this was so great. When there are many activities involved, it's good to have an extended reception time that way we have more time to dance. If you are limited in terms of your reception time, if your event ends at 10 instead of 12 and dancing is a priority for you, you may want to consider the activities that are happening during that time that will eat up the dancing time. So it really depends on what's important to you. Fortunately, here we had enough time to dance while still going through all the activities that the couple and the family wanted. All right, so that was Camille and Dimitri's wedding. That was super fun. And now I'll be talking about the production side of things. Now, this is an FYI to all the couples out there. Now, this is so you know what it took behind the scenes to ensure a fun and smooth wedding. And this is from the DJ perspective, the entertainment perspective, because we are there to create a fun experience. But now this is what it took to get there. And also, DJs, if you're watching, this part is for you too. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a 370 person wedding. So it's important to ensure that all 370 people who are inside that breakwater ballroom enjoy the music and can hear the announcements clearly. To make that happen, we need to have proper sound. So instead of 2 speakers on the dance floor, I also have 2 other satellite speakers on the sides to cater to the people who are on the edge of the ballroom. The ballroom is more of a rectangular shaped. If I have 2 speakers down in the middle, it's perfect for the sound for the people in front of them. The people on the sides won't hear it just as clearly. So to do so, I added 2 speakers on the side and I wired them so that way I don't have to worry about any wireless connection issues. I've done wireless in the past and it works great, but in this case, I wanted to be on the extra safe side, so I wired them. Now, one of the ways to consider, especially when you're DJing for many people, so the ones that I used that day were my Bass Boss SV9, which had a 90-degree angle, and then my RCF HD 10s, which are about 90 degrees as well. There are some speakers out there that have a 120-degree spread to cover more area or more surface. That's the reason why I provided 4. If I brought speakers that are 120-degree spread, then we'll do just fine. But so really depending on the gear that you have, the limitations of your speaker and the quality of the audio of the sound, and you have to think about the acoustics of the room. Does it echo a lot? And it really requires a different approach to ensure that it sounds good for your guests. So that's what I did, and it sounds great wherever people are around that room. It's just the right volume, so we're not pushing too much of volume on the 2 speakers just to cover the sides. No, I balance it out with 2 other satellite speakers. Another note that I want to take on the production on the video projector and the projector screen, the couple had hired a third party to set that up, and it was so important to test it out beforehand. So I got the file from the brother and we tested it out and we displayed it on the screen, but we also had to test out the audio that's part of the video. So I recommend for the DJs out there to have the right cable and the right length of cable to get the audio from the laptop or from the projector all the way to your main mixer board, and ensure that there is a dedicated channel for that, and do a sound check to make sure that it sounds good. And that's what we did. Also, in front of my DJ booth is a TV screen. So I also had the brother create a little video or something to transfer over to me, which I displayed on my TV screen as well, that I played throughout the night. The other production standpoint that I really want to talk about are the singers who were involved. The singers who were involved were Beth and Teddy, and they came earlier to sound check and just really test out the songs that they've given me that they're going to sing on top over. They normally tell you the name of the song and they want instrumentals, but what's very important as a DJ is knowing exactly what that song instrumental version that they're referring to, because there's different versions online and there's different songs out there that they probably have practiced to, that you want to ensure that you have the exact version. And some songs out there too have different keys, and everyone's voice has different keys. So you want to find the right key and the right song and the right version that they want, that will bring out the best singing performance out there. That's what we did. And Teddy, who sang Perfect by Ed Sheeran, he didn't know the words by heart or by mind. So what happened was we coordinated this. Fortunately, I had a TV in front of my DJ booth. He shared with me the exact version of Perfect by Ed Sheeran that had lyrics. I downloaded that video and I was able to display it on my screen. So we used my screen as a way of karaoke. So we invited people over on the dance floor to do a slow dance while Teddy is singing Perfect by Ed Sheeran, and he was looking at my screen to read off the words and sing those words that were on the screen, and that helped him sing that song so well. Now, for these singing performances, one of the things that I did on my digital mixer, which I used the QSC Touch Mix 8 by the way, I applied a reverb effect to soften their vocals on top of the music. It just sounds more professional that way, and it makes the voice very nice to hear. So I applied that effect when they were singing. So those were a few things that I did for the singing performances. Now let's talk about the saxophone. For the saxophone, it's really important to coordinate with that person to ensure what's exactly needed. Amin is a pro, and I've worked with him several times before at other events, but he came in already with his Shure wireless transmitter and receiver that we just connected it to my mixer board. Now the great thing is, fortunately on my QSC Touch Mix 8, I had 8 channels there and I had a few slots available. So it was easy for me to plug in Amin's saxophone microphone receiver, so we were able to test out the sound. Now I used my bass box speakers, and according to Amin, it made him sound amazing, and he said it was like one of the best sounding speakers that he've ever played the saxophone on. And I agree. I mean, in a sense, I may be biased because these are my speakers, but I chose these speakers because at loud volumes, it doesn't sound harsh. It doesn't sound like it's distorted. You're getting a consistent quality of sound even at loud volumes, and you're getting that smooth, rich sound. And clear, by the way, from Bass Boss. So Amin loved the sound, and we tested that out beforehand. And in terms of the production side, during the cocktail hour, we had the couple come in to do a room reveal, and Amin played the sax while that was happening. So this was super important to ensure that the sound with everyone who is involved does a sound check early. And last but not least, for Rudell, our dancing instructor, it was super important to know the order of songs that he wanted, because things change and it's super important to really read out the room. And working with him, he made it easy. He gave me a list of the songs that he knows the line dances to comfortably and knows it well. We did a little powwow, just making sure when it's time for his moment to shine that he knew the exact songs that were to be played. So that's what we did, and it went off well. We got everyone dancing, and it was all a smooth process. And at the end of the night, people loved the music, people enjoyed the flow, and overall it was a great time, not just for the guests, but also, most importantly, our couple. So we stayed till the very end of the night, and it was a great time. Those were some of the production that went into this, and there's more, but these are just some of the notable things I wanted to share with you in this video. By the way, DJs, if you're interested in learning more, check out Wedding DJ Mastery and join my community, and we can talk more all about this. Anyhow, that was Camille and Dimitri's wedding. Such a great time. I hope this video has been helpful, giving you some ideas of what can happen on your wedding day. Just know that every wedding is different, and it's up to you to be creative on how you want things to flow, but with also the help of your planner, your coordinator, your photographer, your videographer, and your DJ. It is a team effort here. And if you want to learn more about weddings and different kinds of activities or flow, or just get inspired, check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm sure they will help you out more too. Anyhow, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put it down in the comments below what you think. And if you are possibly interested in hiring me as your DJ, let's talk. There's a link below where you can schedule that meeting with me. It's been a pleasure DJing for Camille and Dimitri. And Camille and Dimitri, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for having me as your DJ. Once again, I'm Joe, DJ MOJOE. Pause this video and follow me on Instagram right now at DJ_MOJOE. Afterwards, continue and watch more videos that I have right here.